VLC is a very handy media player. It'll play just about anything you can throw at it. Now, if you work in news, some of the formats we use record audio on more than one track at a time. And that becomes a problem with VLC because it only likes to play one at a time. I'm going to show you a fix so that you can listen to all the tracks when you play it back. Stick around. So before we get too far into this, just know that you're going to be making a registry edit. So we'll want to make sure that you've got administrative permission to do that. Okay. If you're cool with that, and then we move on, and I'll show you the how behind it. What I did was I made a MXF clip with split audio. I've got two separate tones on it. So when I go to open the file, you're going to notice on channel 1, it's got a different sounding tone. And then when I switch it to channel 2, you hear the other tone. But of course with VLC, by default, you're not going to hear them both at the same time. So, all right, enough of that. But we're going to switch it so that when this is done, you'll be able to hear both of those tones simultaneously. Now, why would you want to do something like that? Often in news, we might record the reporter's track on channel 1 and an interviewee on channel 2, or we might have some NAT sound on channel 2. And sometimes we like to keep that separated in case we end up cutting a VO out of the package. All news terms, but if you're in news, you know what I'm talking about, and this is an extremely handy thing to have. Okay, so on to the fix. What we're going to do, go down to the bottom here, and we're going to type regedit, regedit. That's going to open the registry editor in Windows. And by the way, if you're trying to do this on a Mac, I found the best way to do it is just use QuickTime. That'll play both tracks. Anyway, on Windows, what we're going to do is look for the parent folder, which is called HKey classes root, which you're going to see up here. Okay, once you see that, you're going to open that drop down, the arrow that's on the left of it, and then you're going to scroll all the way down till you get to the VLC stuff. Got to be very careful with registry edits to make sure that these are very exact. Now for me, I want to make changes to the MXF. So I'm going to go down here where it says MXF, and I'm going to right click on this. And then I'm going to click on export. And we're going to save it right on the desktop. We'll call it my old settings. The reason why we're doing this, instead of me just, putting up a copy of my registry key, that would be really problematic if, say, you installed your VLC in a different directory, because this is all contingent upon where you installed it on your computer and any other settings that you may have had for VLC. We don't want to mess any of that up. So by doing it this way, you're starting with the file that was already on your computer, if that makes sense. So then we're just going to right click on this file and we go to edit. And let's open this up so you can see the whole thing. It's really not all that big. And I know it looks a little bit scary if you're not used to this stuff, but trust me, it's not that bad. And by the way, I have to give credit to Mandy Droid for finding the solution to this on superuser.com. She came up with this and I tested it and it works great. So thank you, Mandy. Appreciate it. All we have to do is apply this one line in 3 different places. And this is the line right here. So I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to go back. And that was just a text file that I had, by the way. I'm going to go down to every one of these where it says, you see where it says command? It says command there. It says command here, and it says command down here. These are the 3 places that we need to make changes. So under that command line, right here at the end of that path, that file path, we're going to paste that value. And you want to make sure you have a space in between. And then we're going to do the same thing again, right down here, the other side of the apostrophe. Paste it. Make sure you've got that space. And then one last time down here, I'll add the space first this time. And then I'll put it there. That's all you have to do to make the changes. Now we're going to go to File and Save. We can close it out. And we can close out. And then what you're going to do, now that this is updated with your new settings, you could rename it if you want to. But in order to enable those settings, you're just going to double click on this. And then it's going to say, you sure you want to do this? You hit yes. And then you're going to say, you really sure you want to do this? And you hit yes. And it says the keys and values have been successfully added to the registry. So let's test it. Let's see if it works. We're going to click on the split audio clip. Now, if we did this right, remember the first time we heard one tone first on track 1, and then I switched to track 2 and we heard that second tone. So when I play it back this time, we should hear both tones at the same time. And there you have it. Okay, so maybe you're wondering why I made a registry file instead of just making the changes while I was in there live. And the answer is, if you decide that you want to update VLC or you want to reinstall the program, you're going to have to run that registry edit to apply the changes again. And so rather than having to go in there every single time and making those changes to those 3 lines, you have that registry file that you can use. So again, shout out to the super user thread for coming up with that solution. I'm going to put a link in the description with that page so you guys can check that out, take a look at it if you want to. Again, thanks for checking this out. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.